and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Friday, April 4th. We begin with some international news. China now says it will impose reciprocal tariffs on all imports from the U.S. starting next week. The move comes 2 days after President Trump announced an additional 34% tariff on all Chinese goods imported into the country. The announcement on China came during Trump's unveiling of tariffs on virtually every other country in the world except for Russia. Yesterday, stock prices dropped, as did the price of crude oil and the value of the U.S. dollar, and stock futures were down today ahead of the market opening. Despite this, Trump says his tariff plan is working as he intended.
I think it's going very well. It was an operation, like when a patient gets operated on, and it's a big thing. The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal?
The Nonpartisan Tax Foundation says the new tariffs could cost the average American taxpayer an additional $2,100 a year. Other critics in Congress are pouncing on predictions from economists that the economy could fall into a recession if all the tariffs stay in place. While some companies are already responding to President Trump's tariff announcement, automaker Stellantis says it's temporarily laying off 900 workers, including some at its Kokomo plant. The company says it is hitting pause on production at assembly plants in Canada and Mexico. This all comes just hours after Trump's 25% tariffs on imported vehicles went into effect. The CEO of Stellantis called the actions necessary given the current market dynamics and says the company is moving quickly to adjust to the new policy. Well, meanwhile, General Motors says it is planning to boost production at its Fort Wayne assembly plant. That is according to a report from Reuters. The news agency says a letter from the United Auto Workers told employees 225 to 250 jobs will be added. GM also said they also plan to hire more temporary workers for the plant. The company's CEO says the GM will shift production from Mexico and Canada to the United States. The Fort Wayne plant primarily makes the Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra trucks, which are also manufactured at plants in Mexico and Canada. In other news, Indiana's independent pro wrestling community is mourning the loss of a familiar face, Nathan Merritt. He died during Wednesday night storms. Warrior Pro Wrestling out of Danville posted a tribute to Merritt, who served as their sound and production director. He also worked behind the scenes with Emerge Wrestling out of Columbus, Indiana, and supported other promotions all across the state. The Hendricks County Sheriff's Office says Merritt's truck struck down power lines on County Road 75 in Danville Wednesday night. The sheriff says Merritt died after he got out of the truck and came in contact with the power lines that were still live. He was just 27 years old. At this hour, there is still no word on what caused the initial crash. On Indy's northeast side, police say one person is stable after an early morning shooting. IMPD says officers were called just before 3 this morning to an apartment on Park Forest Court. That's near East 46th Street in Arlington. Police say they found a person they described as a juvenile with gunshot wounds. Right now, we are still working to learn what led to the gunfire. IMPD has confirmed, though, that detectives are talking to witnesses on scene and trying to get a search warrant for that apartment. Let's talk sports. A wild finish at Hinkle Fieldhouse ends with the Chattanooga Mocs men's basketball team taking home their first ever NIT championship. UC Irvine had a chance to win it, down 1 in overtime. They passed the ball the length of the court and had a clean look at a layup, but it came up short. The Mocs hang on to win 85-84. It's Chattanooga's first championship in a national tournament since they were Division II national champions back in 1977. When it comes to the weather, Storm Track 8 is tracking another round of severe weather coming our way. Meteorologist Tara Hastings has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
We had round 1 of thunderstorm activity and tornadic activity Wednesday night, and then we've got another round that's arriving. Could see some gusty winds, but more importantly, the intense rain that is going to be happening here. So we're dry right now. A few very light spotty showers and some sprinkles across parts of Lawrence County and east, but dry here in the metro area. In fact, we're seeing a little bit of sunshine here right now. I do think Later on this afternoon, we're going to look for some rain chances and then more thunderstorms overnight. So today, we'll see those rain chances begin to ramp up between about 1 and about 5 o'clock here. And then later into the evening hours, we'll look for some of those rain showers beginning and thunderstorms beginning to move in after about 11 p.m., stretching to about 3 or 4 o'clock into the morning. And all day today, we have the potential for some heavier pockets of rain. Well, this is an updated graphic. Storm Prediction Center has just updated us here, our severe storm risk, and now it looks like just south of the metro area, right along Indianapolis and along I-70, we're in this now slight risk. That's a level 2 out of a level 5. And then southwestern sections of Indiana, moving into Washington, French Lick, and Evansville, now up to a 3 out of 5. That is an enhanced risk. So looks like there's a little more confidence that maybe some of these showers and thunderstorms that move in overnight tonight could definitely produce some gusty winds. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, 49 degrees in Indianapolis. I do think today we will climb into the lower 60s. We'll have much more in your forecast and talk about how much rain we may see coming up in a few minutes.
To get a peek at Tara's full forecast, just head over to wishtv.com or you can download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And don't forget to check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Friday, April 4th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.